40 games, 40 stories, each one born from iconic movies and legendary novels. Some shattered sales records and became billion-dollar blockbusters, while others slipped into the shadows, remembered only by the most devoted fans. But can you recognize them all before we reveal the answers? Every clip is a test of your gaming instincts. The deeper your knowledge, the further you go. Low sales, high impact. Can you guess these gems? Blade Runner 1997, based on Ridley Scott's 1982 Blade Runner film. Sold poorly but became a cult classic adventure game. The game featured multiple branching storylines that contradicted the movie's established canon, sparking heated debates among fans about which version was true. King Kong: The Official Game, adapted from Peter Jackson's 2005 King Kong movie. Moderate sales through Ubisoft's marketing push nationwide. Critics heavily panned the human sections while praising Kong gameplay, creating a divisive reception that split the gaming community. Mad Max, based on George Miller's Mad Max film series. Low sales but strong community following worldwide. The game's timeline placement confused fans as it served as both prequel and sequel to Fury Road simultaneously. The Godfather, the game adapted from Francis Ford Coppola's 1972 masterpiece. Decent sales with loyal fanbase support. EA faced criticism for adding violence and profanity that exceeded the original film's content rating. Jumanji, the video game, based on the 1995 and 2017 Jumanji films. Light co-op adventure with modest sales figures. Fans complained the game ignored Robin Williams' original character completely, focusing only on recent sequels. The Thing, 2002, adapted from John Carpenter's 1982 horror classic. Cult classic status with limited sales reach. The game's trust system mechanic was praised but caused confusion about which team members were infected. Terminator Resistance, based on James Cameron's Terminator film franchise. Moderate sales but strong, dedicated fanbase support. Fans debated whether the game followed the original timeline or the controversial Dark Fate continuity. RoboCop: Rogue City, adapted from Paul Verhoeven's 1987 RoboCop film. Recent FPS release with positive critical reception. The game's ultra-violent content exceeded even the rated source material, causing rating board controversies. The Matrix: Path of Neo, based on the Wachowski sisters' Matrix trilogy. Average sales with unique bullet time gameplay mechanics. The Wachowskis personally rewrote the ending, creating a new conclusion that many fans rejected as non-canon. Friday the 13th, the game adapted from Sean Cunningham's slasher film series. Asymmetrical multiplayer with modest sales performance. Legal disputes over franchise rights forced the developers to cease all future content updates permanently. Call of Cthulhu, 2018, based on H.P. Lovecraft's cosmic horror stories. Horror RPG achieved cult hit status. The game's sanity meter mechanic was criticized for potentially stigmatizing mental health issues inappropriately. I Have No Mouth, and I Must Scream, adapted from Harlan Ellison's 1967 dystopian story. Dark adventure classic with limited commercial success. Ellison himself voiced the antagonist AM, but later disowned the game over creative differences. Betrayal at Krondor, based on Raymond Feist's Rift War saga novels. Legendary 90s RPG with steady sales. The game's complex magic system confused players who expected simpler mechanics like contemporary RPGs. Enslaved, Odyssey to the West, adapted from the classic Journey to West. Modern retelling achieved cult classic status only. The Western adaptation of Eastern mythology sparked cultural appropriation debates among international audiences. Shadow of Chernobyl. Based on Arkady Strugatsky's roadside picnic novel, famous FPS with moderate commercial success. The game's notorious bugs and technical issues at launch became legendary among PC gamers. They didn't dominate sales, but they conquered our hearts. Alien Isolation, adapted from Ridley Scott's 1979 Alien film. Survival horror classic sold approximately 5 million copies. The game's punishing difficulty and 20-hour length divided players between hardcore fans and casual gamers. Ghostbusters. The video game based on Ivan Reitman's 1984 Ghostbusters comedy, considered the official third movie by fans. Bill Murray's reluctant participation led to minimal dialogue recording, disappointing fans expecting full character interaction. The Incredibles, 2004, adapted from Pixar's superhero family animated film, generated approximately $57 million in global revenue. The game's T rating for violence surprised parents expecting E-rated content like other Pixar games. Spider-Man 2, 2004, based on Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2 movie. Major commercial success with innovative web-swinging mechanics. The game's open-world New York was criticized for repetitive side missions and bland NPCs. The Chronicles of Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay, adapted from David Tuhai's Riddick film series. Highly rated stealth FPS with strong critical reception. Vin Diesel's heavy involvement in development sparked debates about celebrity ego in game production. Dune, Spice Wars. Based on Frank Herbert's classic science fiction novel, RTS, drawing inspiration from literary source material. The game's focus on politics over combat disappointed fans expecting traditional warfare-based strategy gameplay. World War Z, adapted from Max Brooks' 2006 novel and 2013 film, moderately successful co-op shooter with decent sales. The game ignored the book's anthology structure, frustrating literary fans who preferred episodic storytelling. Metro Exodus, based on Dmitry Glukhovsky's Metro 2033 novel series. Best-selling entry with strongest franchise sales performance. The Epic Games Store exclusivity deal sparked massive boycotts and review bombing campaigns. Spec Ops: The Line, loosely adapted from Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness. Critically acclaimed but commercially unsuccessful military shooter. The game's anti-war message confused players expecting traditional patriotic military action gameplay. The Walking Dead, Telltale, based on Robert Kirkman's comic book series. Award-winning adventure with multiple Game of Year honors. The game's focus on choice consequences was criticized when players discovered limited actual impact. The Witcher, Enhanced, adapted from Andrzej Sapkowski's fantasy novel series. Solid sales foundation for successful franchise launch. The game's mature content and sexual themes sparked censorship debates in conservative gaming markets. Starship Troopers, Terran Command, based on Robert Heinlein's military science fiction, moderately successful RTS with faithful adaptation approach. Fans debated whether the game should follow Heinlein's serious tone or Verhoeven's satirical interpretation. The Lord of the Rings, Gollum, adapted from J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle-earth legendarium. Limited commercial success despite popular source material. The game's technical issues and poor reception led to developer Daedalus' closure announcement. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, based on J.K. Rowling's fourth Potter novel, generated approximately $17 million in worldwide revenue. The game simplified complex book plotlines, disappointing fans who wanted complete Triwizard Tournament coverage. The Force Unleashed, set within George Lucas's Star Wars universe, sold 1.5 million copies in opening week. The game's overpowered protagonist sparked canon debates about Force abilities and Jedi power levels. From big screens to bestsellers, legends are born here. Hogwarts Legacy, set in J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter universe. Massive success, selling 34 million copies, earning $1+ billion. The game faced boycott campaigns over Rowling's controversial transgender rights statements and political positions. The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt, based on Andrzej Sapkowski's fantasy novel series. Phenomenal success, with over 50 million copies sold. The game's multiple endings and romance options sparked debates about canonical character relationships. Star Wars Jedi: Fallen Order, set within George Lucas's Star Wars galaxy. Strong performance with approximately 12 million sales. The game's Disney-era timeline placement confused fans about sequel trilogy connections and character fates. Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, set in J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of Rings. Successful release, selling 7-8 million copies worldwide. The Nemesis system's procedural orc personalities conflicted with Tolkien's established Middle-earth lore and characterizations. Batman: Arkham City, based on DC Comics' Batman character universe. Blockbuster hit, selling 12.5 million copies globally. The game's darker tone and Joker's death sparked debates about maintaining comic book continuity. Spider-Man 2018, adapted from Marvel Comics' Spider-Man character franchise. Massive success with 33 million copies sold. The game's original costume designs and story changes frustrated fans expecting traditional comic accuracy. The Walking Dead final season, based on Robert Kirkman's comic book series. Series conclusion sold 10 million copies total. Telltale's bankruptcy during development created uncertainty about the game's completion and quality standards. Dying Light, inspired by classic zombie apocalypse literature. Global success with 20 million copies sold. The game's realistic violence and zombie portrayal sparked debates about desensitization to graphic content. Jurassic World Evolution 2, based on Steven Spielberg's Jurassic Park franchise. High-performance management game with impressive sales figures. The game's genetic modification mechanics raised ethical questions about real-world genetic engineering implications. Star Wars: Battlefront 2, set within George Lucas's Star Wars universe. Strong seller with approximately 14 million copies. The game's aggressive microtransaction system sparked industry-wide debates about gambling mechanics in gaming. How many did you guess right? Some were easy, others nearly impossible, but everyone carries a story worth remembering. Think you can beat your score? Watch again, share your results, and challenge your friends.